Hello, my name is Harsh Goela and this is Aditya Goela. Of course, आपको तो ये पता ही है. पर जो चीज बताने की है is that we got an opportunity from INDmoney to have a podcast with their founder Ashish Kashyap. So Ashish, thank you so much for joining us today. और सर इनके बारे में हमने सर्च किया, ये बहुत टॉप चीज है. This is one person who's got started 4 startups, सब प्रॉफिटेबल थे. बट गोयला को सिर्फ इतने से काम नहीं चलेगा. हमने INDmoney टीम से बोला कि हमें आपका ऑफिस भी देखना है, आपकी टीम से भी इंटरेक्ट करना है. वी वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट INDmoney एंड हाउ डू यू प्रोवाइड सर्विस टू अस.
Hi Harsh, hi Aditya. आज मैं आपको INDmoney का ऑफिस दिखाऊंगी. So this is our cafeteria. This is
Ashish's office.
Yes, this is the founder office.
Magic happens.
Yes.
And of course, sitting with the founder, we have asked him questions about how to be a better investor,
What should be the advice to investor?
how to go for fintech,
Where do you see tech companies are better to invest in, India or USA?
how to build careers in stock market.
According to you, what problems do you feel in this industry of financial markets are still yet to be solved? Guys, today we have with us is Ashish Kashyap, and this is one person who's got started 4 startups, सब profitable थे, and हम investors हैं, and he is the founder of INDmoney. तो आज काफी डिटेल में क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हैं, and how to make sure that हम investors को maximum benefit मिल पाए.
Right. तो मेरे पास भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन हैं, हर्ष भाई बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन हैं स्पेसिफिकली रिगार्डिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट में. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन हैं, तो आई एम श्योर कि you will get a lot of value.
So Ashish, thank you so much for joining us today. अब Ashish, your journey has been incredible. मतलब just reading your LinkedIn profile, मैं intimidate हो गया था. And then you were the country head for Google. Then you founded GoIBO. Then there was IBIBO Group. Then there was Redbus. There was PayU. And now INDmoney. तो tech से you, I think मैंने आपके podcast दूसरी भी देखे that you were very interested in tech by nature. I think you like to know how things work. आपके अंदर वो curiosity है. तो how did this jump to personal finance in INDmoney? ये jump कैसे आया?
See, अगर आप firstly thank you for having me over on this show. अगर आप देखो, the common thread is problem solving and the problem that I could always relate to. So if you go back in time, GoIBO's birth happened because I was faced with not being able to book hotels properly in India. Hotel book karo, you reach a hotel and the hotel does not allow you entry because the whole booking system was very unreliable. And we innovated and we changed it and we created one of the most strongest hotel management system in the country. Similarly, if you look at bus ticketing was very unreliable, and we made it very, very reliable by creating systems for bus operators and creating very good mobile applications for passengers. PayU's birth happened because the payment gateways that we were using for these online travel systems, those payment gateways were not stable. I mean, you also in your school accept payment through payment gateway. Imagine if the payments are failing, your cost of acquisition would be high.
Very high.
So we said, let's rewrite the rules and just create our own payment system. And that's how the birth of IBIBO Pay happened, which later on became PayU as it got acquired. So that's how it happened. And INDmoney's birth is also completely driven by my personal pain areas. You know, they say wearer only knows where the shoe pinches.
Right.
So it's a pretty apt saying, at least from my journey, where, I was very pained because my finances were all scattered. So was the case with a lot of my friends and family members. My family members' finances were also scattered. One does not know where are you spending. One does not know. You have a mutual fund somewhere, you have 4 Demat accounts somewhere, you have saving accounts somewhere, and it's all scattered. And if it's all scattered and it's all over the place, अगर आपको अपने पैसे पे control ही नहीं है, how would you do thoughtful investment? How would you do systematic investment? How would you compound your money? So the whole thought was, can we have a single mobile app for customers where customers don't need to do anything automatically? Customers can connect all their accounts within minutes, within seconds, and get insights, and then also use the same app to invest in Indian equities, global equities, fixed income products, and asset allocate and compound their money. So basically, एक ही app से you should be able to track and control your money, invest your money, and compound and grow your money with INDmoney.
Yes, yes. So tell me one thing, you came to the fintech world. So, matlab, do you have any background of finance also before this?
So, very good question. And the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that I was always pained with my personal finances. Okay, and hence the lens that I'm wearing while working with my team to build INDmoney is that of the first fundamental principles, which is the lens of a normal retail customer in the country. होता ये मैंने देखा है, अगर आप बिल्कुल ही हार्डकोर फाइनेंस से आ रहे हो तो यू दोज लेंसेज दैट प्रिज्म वो खराब हो जाता है. यू आर नॉट एबल टू सी फ्रॉम द सेम लेंस. यू आर ऑलवेज लुकिंग एट इट इन अ स्टेटस को मैनर, विच इज वाई अगर आप देखोगे इतनी सारी फाइनेंस प्रोडक्ट्स थी इन INDmoney से पहले, what they were really doing is translating a lot of trading screens onto mobile apps, rather than making it very simple. So if you look at INDmoney, our aim is to personalize and make it very, very simple.
Right.
So that's one. But having said that, agar aap dekho, disruption does not happen from people who are incumbents. If you see Airbnb, Airbnb is a massive disruption on lodging industry.
100%.
But do the founders come from hotel industry? Answer is no. Now you look at Uber. Was Travis Kalanick from a cab or a transportation industry? Answer is no. And I can take 50, 60, 100 examples. I mean, if you look at Goela, was I from travel background? No. I'm not saying that in these companies you don't want some skills. Like INDmoney has good skills of finance and financial analysis skills to be able to build models and algorithms and so on and so forth. But in general, I think the first principles approach ke customer ki kya pain area hai, normal people, what are their pain areas, right? What are the pain areas? When Airbnb was thinking, what is the pain area? People have unused accommodation, right? Completely looked at it very differently, right? What is the pain area at INDmoney? Ke yaar, people are not being able to take control of money. Money has taken control of them, which is very frustrating. And people also don't want to do hard work of entering all of that in an Excel sheet. It's very difficult, right? You got to automate it, right? So I think that's really the thinking out here that, listen, disruption will not happen by incumbents.
That's very true. I think I can relate to this point. Why? Because when we started off our education in stock markets, so we're coming from a finance background. I'm a CFA itself. So we took some time to understand that the basic things, which I think basic, other people don't even know that.
Correct.
So I think that is really, really interesting.
We just assume that inflation सबको पता ही होगा, जबकि we realize कि that is the issue. And ये भी point say that if I think tech heads like you didn't enter the industry, तो शायद अभी भी हम 50 पैसे KYC form ही भर रहे होते with that 50 signs. So yeah, this was very interesting. And जो आपने बोला that you want to collect all the money at one place, right? Which is true. It's a major pain point कि mutual funds कहीं और हैं, stocks कहीं और हैं. तो is this vision of INDmoney app starting से ये था या फिर this vision has got clearer as you have progressed?
So I think the clarity was, we started off by saying this is one app for you to organize your money, organize your finances, and not just organize your finances, but organize across your family members. The extension to this vision was that we also want to, and the mission was always that we want to improve your financial future. मतलब अगर आप अपने पैसे organize कर रहे हो, our AI tells you where are the leakages, where are the expenses, where are you paying commissions, where are you paying, where are you delaying your payments, and so on and so forth. तो आप पैसे टेबल पे कहाँ छोड़ के जा रहे हो? So that's what our app still tells people. But I think the big extension for us was that people wanted to also take action, right? And we said we need to give them investing tools. So our first investing tool was a very unique product, which is global investing.
Right.
Being able to invest in Apple, Google, etc., etc.
Right, correct.
And then very
very exciting.
Recently, we've launched domestic equities. It's a very competitive market. But the thought here is always that, listen, come to INDmoney, take control of your money and then invest and grow your money.
Wow. अब आशीष, कमिंग बैक टू द स्टॉक ब्रोकिंग इंडस्ट्री, अब दिस इंडस्ट्री बहुत एवोल्यूशन आ गया है पूरा इसमें, जब आई थिंक पहले हमारा अकाउंट खुला था टू नाउ, तो स्टॉक ब्रोकिंग इंडस्ट्री में अभी व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस दैट आर येट टू बी सॉल्व्ड एंड व्हाट आर द अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन दिस इंडस्ट्री गिविंग अ फैक्ट कि इतने सारे प्लेयर्स हैव कम इन?
No, I think good question. So first is this stock broking is not just about enabling a customer to make a trade or make an investment. It is about, number one, education. Number two is about giving a very reliable experience. Because remember, the key to any business is to give a very fast and a reliable experience. What is the customer here buying? The customer here is buying a price and a unit and taking a delivery of it in his wallet, which is called a Demat at a simple level. तो उसको बहुत ही reliable बनाना is very, very critical. And I think there is a lot of work going on, not just by with INDmoney, but other players also. So education, reliable and fast experience, that's the second thing. The third aspect is that you want to give transparency and ease to the consumer. Make it very, very easy. There is too much of jargons, unnecessary. It's very easy, right? It's at the end of the day an exchange from where a customer is buying. मैं आपसे एक यूनिट खरीद रहा हूँ या मैं आपको एक यूनिट बेच रहा हूँ. Making it very simple is very critical, and then backing it up with extremely good amount of simple information on a company. मैंने जैसे बताया था ना कि being able to show to the customers promoter shareholding बढ़ी है या कम हुई है, इस कंपनी की वैल्यूएशन इसके पेयर से कैसी है. तो ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन जो सारी हिडन है या पेड थी, मेकिंग दिस इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सेसिबल एंड सुपर इजी फॉर पीपल. So I think these are very, very important things. So INDmoney is doing all of this. And besides this, what INDmoney is doing is making it very easy through its portfolio dashboard to help consumers then also asset allocate. मतलब at the end of the day, आप इसमें मतलब you are doing this to compound. You're investing to compound. But are you allocating properly? इसका मतलब ये है कि आपने एक म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदा. म्यूचुअल फंड पे भी यू आर एक्सपोज टू अ स्टॉक एक्स, और स्टॉक एक्स भी आपने डायरेक्टली खरीद लिया, तो उस पर ओवर एक्सपोजर करने का तो फायदा नहीं है, एंड दैट गोज अगेंस्ट द ग्रेन ऑफ नॉट डाइवर्सिफाइंग, राइट? सो बीइंग एबल टू गिव दैट कंट्रोल टू यूजर्स is again very, very important. So I think that kind of simplicity and that kind of insight is the need of the hour, which we at INDmoney are chasing. I'm sure others are also trying to chase the same thought process. And I think while there will be multiple players, is सबको execute करना is heavy duty. It's not easy execution. It requires a very different mindset, very different strategy, very different philosophy, very different technology skills in the organization. It is not, I can say this for sure. If it took me 10 units of difficulty to build GoIBivo, 7 units of difficulty to build PayU, building INDmoney is 50 to 100x. Okay.
Wow. So this problem cannot be only solved by just putting money. It has to use
It
a
is
lot of
not,
brain.
you cannot solve this through grunt force.
वैसे ये तो है, मतलब आई वाज रीडिंग द INDmoney यूजर एक्सपीरियंस, तो किसका था कि एवरी इंडस्ट्री के डिफरेंट मैट्रिक्स उन्होंने जज. तो जैसे किसी ने बैंकिंग स्टॉक में डाल रखा है तो उसको NIM आ जाएगा उसका कि नेट इंटरेस्ट मार्जिन कितना है, NPS कितना है. सो दैट हाँ डेफिनेटली थिंग्स हैव बिकम वेरी इजी फॉर इन्वेस्टर्स.
And of course, our philosophy on the option side is that we need to protect the customer. So which is why very lot of focus and lot of push from my side. Consumers must put stop loss.
राइट.
Stop loss lagana hai, right? We have to encourage. If there is some danger our AI system is seeing in a stock, nudge him. Stop.
आई हैव सीन दैट के अलर्ट्स आते हैं आप IND ऐप में. यस.
Correct. And so you put your stop loss, you can put your target price. So stop loss is a very beautiful exchange feature. Let's encourage people a lot, right? Because that's a downside protection. So that's the business model. Now, INDmoney is a super app, and we want to continue to ensure that on the investing side, it's either discount brokerage or zero commission. That is what we want to do, because अगर आप mutual fund पे commission charge करो, right? Rather regular plan दो,
Right.
So let's say that could be anything from 0.7% to 1%. So that is not 0.7 to 1% one time. You are
Yes.
getting that commission over 10-20 years. So एक SIP कोई चला रहा है 20 साल. So 20 साल you are paying to the distributor or a broker 0.7%, 1%, and that is also compounding. And that is taking away from your return. So philosophically, we said because it's a commission is a trail, unlike discount brokerage. So philosophically, we said कि यार इसको तो this doesn't sound good to us,
हाँ.
right? So philosophically, let's constantly keep this direct plan commission free, and which means that a person who comes to INDmoney to set a SIP will always do better rather than going to another broker who sells regular plan mutual funds.
Yeah.
100% लॉन्ग टर्म बहुत डिफरेंस पड़ जाता है. So what IND is planning and what you are planning कि broking industry, discount broking industry specifically, are going for bite size revenue brokerages, but with a massive volume.
Yeah, yes, that's one. Other than that, a company like INDmoney, also has other revenue streams. Like we have a credit line product on our platform. It's a popular product which people, use during emergency situations. We also have an insurance product on our platform, which is essentially a beautiful culmination of the product. कि भाई आपने सारे goals set कर लिए हैं यहाँ पे. Now insure it. And it's a fully digital journey that we have, and that's also an important revenue stream for our company. So I think जो एक और चीज I learned during building INDmoney is that you cannot build a financial services business based on a single revenue stream. You need to diversify your revenue streams also,
Good insight, yes.
right? So from that point of view, we're very keen, but at the same time, you just don't throw things up. So हम ऐसे फेंक नहीं देते कि ये कुछ खरीद ले. It has to be beautifully personalized, right? कि, okay, you have these 5 goals, and these 5 goals, require you to have set aside this much of pot of money, but have you insured it, right? And if you insure it, you'll have to spend only this much of money to insure these goals for your family, right? With a lot of education. So yeah, so it's all stitched. It's not just like buttons here and there, but it's all personalized, stitched, and that's the difficult part.
True, broking industry is completely changed. I think जैसा आपने बताया कि आपने जब when you were talking so much insistence on the fact that you want that the person should be in the right direction, he should not pay regular, stop loss होना चाहिए. Earlier, I don't think brokers maybe had inclination towards this side. ये काफी interesting side है that
Yeah, because I think now the game or game would be a wrong word, but the world that we are in, earlier, when you and I started using these very old world broking systems,
Right.
जो चलते नहीं थे आधे समय
Odin, I remember Odin use होता था software में.
Correct. So the world that we sit in today is, at that time there were hardly million or less than a million investors, right?
Right.
Or maybe not, maybe just 4-5 lakh investors, right?
True.
And today, with the world we sit in, it's still there is a critical mass. इसका मतलब ये है कि there are, जहाँ हमारा हिसाब है that there are 85 million unique users who have a Demat account. So 85 million unique users have about 130 million Demat accounts. So 85 million users have Demat accounts with 40-50 million active investors. This is a good critical mass. But also, while this
How do you define active investors as a
मतलब
from a broker point of view?
they are actively in a year buying and selling. Okay.
अच्छा, in a year they have at least the minimum amount of transactions की
Yeah, some
कुछ करा.
minimalistic amount of transactions they're
Right.
going through, and some and active folios on mutual funds and so on and so forth, right? So the waterfall that we think about is 130 million Demat accounts at the top of the funnel. 130 million Demat accounts opened by 80 million users, unique users. That's a very important number, or unique investors, and would be about 40 odd million active investors, right? Now this is a good critical mass from where we came, right?
Right.
And while this is a good critical mass, the other thing that is this is still underpenetrated. There is still that 40 million to become 80 million active, and then 80 million to become 200 million, right? And it's a huge headroom for growth. So in this journey, we cannot milk very few users. We need to be very transparent with users.
Right.
We need to provide very stable and fast services to users, and we need to be keeping things either free or low cost and kind of monetizing through cross sell, upsell, etc., etc.
जैसे इन्वेस्टर्स के बीच में एक बहुत ही वो ट्रेडिशनल सेइंग है is that stock broker will only leave that much money with you so that you can pay his brokerage. What would be your comments on that? Do you think this scenario is completely changed?
I think this is changed now, right? I think this is changed because now also there are real-time settlement systems and so on and so forth. This is changed, and also it is, absolutely a world towards, I think, discount brokerage. Even the full-scale brokers are now going towards this direction.
काफी एजुकेशन में ब्रोकर्स आर फोकसिंग. तो आशीष, व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, जैसे जैसे हम बात करते हैं फाइनेंस में कितना एक्साइटमेंट आ गया, राइट? एंड आपकी टीम ही बता रही थी दैट लास्ट ईयर itself 33% डीमैट अकाउंट्स हैव ओपन, मतलब नॉट आईएनडी, द एंटायर ब्रोकिंग थिंग इन इंडिया, एंड मेजरली सब यंगस्टर्स ही 18-24. So do you think कि जो डीमैट अकाउंट्स में ग्रोथ है, दिस विल कंटिन्यू टू बी दिस स्ट्रांग, और यू आर प्रेडिक्टिंग कि नीचे आएगा, ऊपर जाएगा?
So
What
I
are you
think,
forecasting?
the right metric to actually look at is Demat to activation.
Right,
The Demat to खोल लिया, but after that, how much of it is getting activated?
right.
So, I'm very confident that the activation numbers will grow. And while the Demat growth will happen, but it need not happen at the same pace, right? Because at the end of the day, you want the Demat to activation number ratios to be, much better. But in general, what's happening in the market is that, remember, there was very, very weak penetration. People had their money sitting in savings account or fixed deposits. It's that money suddenly coming into the capital markets. Lots of good work being done by people like you to educate people about the power of compounding. Because if people will not invest, then what are they doing? They are destroying their money, right? Because inflation is eating their money away, correct? So I think a lot of education done by folks like you, apps like INDmoney is encouraging people to, get access to capital markets, get access to education. All of that is, driving growth. But for me, the key metric is to see not Demat, but investors. Demat is also important because it's the wallet, it's the account. But uske niche investors getting activated.
So abhi, what is the, मतलब if suppose 10 demat accounts open, how many would be active, मतलब just to get an idea?
So if 10, basically open, then about 40% of that.
So 4 would be
Correct.
Ashish, अब you also mentioned AI, ठीक है? अब ये भी बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है दैट आजकल INDmoney ऑफ कोर्स इज अ प्लेटफॉर्म, एंड बहुत जगह ऐसा हो रहा है कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इज बीइंग यूज्ड कि इन्वेस्टर्स को अपने पोर्टफोलियो में गाइड कर पाए और हेल्प कर पाए. डू यू थिंक आने वाले टाइम में AI कैन रिप्लेस फंड मैनेजर्स मे बी, या शायद वही बताएंगे कि इन्वेस्टमेंट पोर्टफोलियो क्या होना चाहिए?
So I think definitely, AI can help with people to allocate the money, asset allocate. I'm sure आप अपने स्कूल में भी सिखाते हैं asset allocation और बार बार ये समझाते हो. It's an easy concept, but समझाना थोड़ा tricky है, right? So I think asset allocation, मतलब अगर for your audience, asset allocation means कि आप एक basket में सारे अंडे मत डालो, right? Put it in multiple baskets. Simple, right? But वो कैसे डालना है, that asset allocation based on a person's risk, that, I think AI can do very, very beautifully, and can do it and help the customer rebalance as the person is changing age, income, savings, and so on and so forth. So that is beautifully done, and should be done, by AI, and can be done definitely much better than a human being. Okay, so I think that's something which is very powerful. Now coming to, let's say, fund manager. So fund manager can be your personal fund manager, or fund manager can be a person who's managing indexes,
Right.
or managing, active large caps, managing mid caps and small caps. So I think jahan pe the data and knowledge, explicit data and knowledge is much lesser. There, fund manager cannot be replaced, because the fund manager is not, just looking at data. Of course, that data processing can still happen through AI and data science models, but at the end of the day, the fund manager needs to meet the promoters, founders, right? CEOs, CFOs, management team कैसी है, ethical है या नहीं है, क्या कर रही है, right? So that very intangible aspect becomes very critical in making choices of investing in companies and deploying retail investors money finally, right? So I think
Right.
fund managers is very, very important when it comes to, when the fund managers are choosing companies and data come hai. Indexes level pe, there's a lot of good data, good behavior. There things can really get automated more and more and more, asset allocation more and more. But really about, if let's say there's a fund manager for a small cap mutual fund manager for, investing in startups or private equity, that is very difficult for AI to, because ये जो emotional intelligence चाहिए आपको, that can only happen in this kind of a conversation.
100%. वो qualitative चीज तो हो ही नहीं पाई जब तुम numbers में ना हो. And हाँ, I think मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि fund managers replace तो शायद नहीं होंगे, but their job will evolve. मतलब as in maybe they don't have to do the elementary things.
Right. That would be taken care of.
Yeah.
Correct. जहाँ पे भी data है, that can be easily be taken care by AI.
So, say one question. So, you talked about management.
Right.
Management ko dekhna is very important to figure out exactly what small cap stock or any stock to purchase. Now, asking from a lens of an investor, and you being into basically a lot of businesses, big businesses, startups also. I mean, startups and businesses. So, according to you, what should be the advice to investor? अगर उसको management को check करना है, so what are the few things he can go through to understand if the management of the company is good or bad?
Yeah, I think एक तो, there is private companies. So an investor could be wanting to invest in private companies, a very early stage, a zero stage, seed stage, product market fit stage, Series A stage, Series B stage, growth stage, and slightly maturer stage, pre-IPO stage, right? So एक तो इस type की companies हैं जहाँ पे the company information is not available in public.
Yes.
And here, depending upon the quantum, the investor should do very, very, depending upon the quantum. If he's just putting some money for as a school fee, that's a separate issue. But the investor should be doing thorough due diligence on the management team. I would really look for a couple of things. Number one, I would look for कि जो भी CEO founder है, उसकी salary क्या है?
Interesting.
Okay. वो कितनी लेट्स से अगर फंडेड है कंपनी, उसकी सैलरी क्या ले रहा है, राइट? और अगर सीड स्टेज पे है तो वो जो फाउंडर है वो किस को कन्विंस कर चुका है टू जॉइन हिम. बिकॉज ये अगर एक फाउंडर, अगर सीड स्टेज पे आप इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, कोई बोलता है देखो मेरे पास एक आइडिया है कि मेरे को आपका जैसा ऑनलाइन स्कूल बनाना है, राइट, और मेरे को 5 करोड़ रुपए चाहिए, तो आप कैसे इवैल्यूएट करोगे? तो आप नंबर 1 इवैल्यूएशन करोगे तो ये बाकियों को कन्विंस कर सकता है टू जॉइन हिम, राइट? बिकॉज अभी तो सीड स्टेज पे तो कॉर्पोरेशन जैसे पैसे तो मिलेंगे नहीं, सैलरीज नहीं मिलेंगी, तो दैट्स एन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग. और अगर सीरीज A, B, C पे है और अगर वो मार्केट सैलरी ले रहा है, देन देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम. आई ऑल्सो वुड लुक एट कि उसने अपनी स्किन इन द गेम कितनी लगाई है इसमें. आई थिंक दैट्स ऑल्सो अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. आई एम टॉकिंग हियर इन वेयर प्राइवेट्स आर कंसर्न, राइट? Then I would really look at aspects like even though business plan change हो जाता है from seed stage to series C, पूरा business plan change हो जाता है, but can this person think through unit economics and numbers? आगे के जो बनाना है इसने, can he visualize all of those? A lot of founders or prospective founders are not able to think through this. मेरा एक जो बहुत ही favorite सवाल होता है कि भाई जो भी आप कर रहे हो, especially B2C business में, what are your unit economics? जैसे आप एक स्टूडेंट अक्वायर कर रहे हो, what are the core unit economics of this today and what do they look tomorrow? So I think I wouldn't ever be scared of the fact कि competitive है, because I think execution is everything. Execution, getting the right unit economics, a lot of back-ended innovation is very important.
And this is
This is Ashish's office?
Yes, this is the
where
founder
the
office.
magic happens?
Yes, this is the area of magic.
Wow.
See where the magic is happening.
This is the office that, बताऊं, ये office हो तो मजा भी है ना काम करने में.
Absolutely.
What a beautiful office to have. So Ashish is regular to work for her, हमेशा time to time.
Yes. He's a workaholic. He loves to work.
तो हमारा podcast start होना है तभी भी he has, I think, couple of meetings to attend.
Yeah.
Then he'll just directly be there.
Wow. अच्छा, यहाँ पे मस्ती का मारते हैं IND ऑफिस में.
मस्ती के लिए वो वाला एरिया, और एक बाहर, मैं आपको बाहर लेके जाती हूँ पहले.
Okay, now this is the Zen garden.
Yes, this is the Zen garden.
Wow. ये तो super hangout point.
Yeah, I mean, you're here in the summers, so of course the vibe is a little bit different, but winters mein it's pretty nice. So we shoot here, the bamboo area,
Okay.
on this my favorite jhula, and we use that area a bit, the last corner area of the terrace in the evening because lights are better then.
Right.
But people come here and chill, and winters mein especially. So we also have parties here. We had a Zumba session here once.
Wow.
We had a whiskey tasting session recently.
Is
so
it?
they set up the entire booth here, the whiskey tasting booth. So and here was a snack table. Well, I also thought so, but unfortunately no, because बहुत बारिश थी उस दिन, so people left early. But yeah, that's precisely our Zen garden. So it actually feels Zen here.
So suppose if you want to connect to your senior or if you want to go to Ashish, so
हाँ
is
जी.
that possible? या फिर
Yeah,
proper
yeah,
है
yeah.
system to that?
No. He's very approachable. I mean, here feedback system, there's no hierarchy that you have to first go, I mean, level 1, level 2, level 3, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's a very approachable office. You can talk to Ashish, take feedbacks. Even he's a person who loves giving feedback.
Right.
So if you sit with him, he'll give you entire structure. If you have a problem, he'll definitely solve it for you.
Right. And
So-
कौन आपकी team से ही बताता that he Ashish knows, I think, so what is the work everyone is doing, कौन क्या
Yes,
कर रहा
yes,
है.
yes.
75% of the things he would know. कि
Yeah.
What are
He's
you
one
working
of
on?
those CEOs who knows what you are doing and he wants to take out the best out of you.
And he remembers कि क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा.
Yes, definitely. I mean, हमारी memory शायद थोड़ी कम हो जाएगी, but अगर हमने उनको कुछ बताया, then he'll always remember that.
So I would really spend time with depending upon the stage, I would really spend time with the people team, management team. I would also look at integrity as a very important aspect.
So how can one judge it?
So I think one has to, again, it depends upon the quantum, right? Like, and how much time you want to spend, right? If it's a large quantum you want to put into a private, you would want to speak to the person if he's coming from university, from his previous classmates, if he's coming from a previous company, from his previous colleagues and other people. You speak to 10 people, samajh aa jata hai.
Right.
You speak to 10 people, and I think that exercise must be done. So that's where privates are concerned. And here on privates, I would also like to say that I think this is again, it's a high risk investment. So people with moderate risk appetite should not, and typically people should not allocate more than 3 to 4%
Right.
of their entire portfolio, right, on this super high risk investment as an asset class. In case of publics, one of the things I see is how much promoter insider selling is going on, right? That's a very important metric to be looked at, that how much of it is going on. And I think beyond beyond looking at just at the CEO and promoter, one should also look at other management team members. Who are the other people? Who are the other 15, 20 key people? Right. So I would really double click. These are other than the fundamentals, right?
Right.
So I would definitely double click on it if I'm putting a large quantum.
Right. Of course, अगर considerable amount है नहीं, फिर तो शायद इतना effort डालने का point ही नहीं है.
Exactly.
वैसे I'm interested to know कि अब ऐसे suppose IND की boardroom meeting चल रही है, right? You have this perspective that I want to execute first. होता है कि other team members say that let's work these things out, फिर करते हैं. So how does that conflict get resolved? कैसे होता है फिर वो?
So it is a conflict. Let's put it this way, for sure, and that's been the case throughout my journey. But I guess while I love some bit of consensus, somewhere we as founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs need to take a call, and the buck stops at us, and then we need to say, look, let's do this. But then you would really, so that there is the right balance, you would say, okay, let's do this with these limited set of users and with these limited set of features.
तो अब ये होता है कि एक हर कंपनी में एक डिफरेंट कल्चर होता है फाउंड, और जो हम देखते हैं एटलीस्ट इन मूवीज, स्टार्टअप में बहुत कूल कल्चर होता है, सब चिल कर रहे हैं, एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं. तो इज दैट ट्रू हियर आल्सो?
हाँ, वो तो ट्रू है, बिकॉज अगेन बहुत ओपन स्पेस है, लाइक आई शोड यू यहाँ पे. तो कल्चर वाइज अगेन कोई हायरार्की ऐसी नहीं है कि आप इसको अप्रोच नहीं कर सकते, आप इससे बात नहीं कर सकते. तो यहाँ पे भी ऐसे है, आप हंसी मजाक चल रहा है, एक टीम ज़्यादा तेज चिल्ला रही है, बातें कर रही है, वहाँ पे दूसरी टीम साइलेंटली काम कर रही है. तो कल्चर वाइज आई थिंक दैट्स परफेक्टली ब्लेंडेड.
Wow. और वो दिखता भी है, बताओ, when you use the app, तो ये इतना interesting है. Finally, we get to see the team that's working behind that app.
Yeah.
अच्छा, जैसे tell me more about Ashish. How is he as a boss?
So, honestly, he's not my direct boss. Of course, he's the CEO, so he has a managerial
I'm sure,
level people under him. But he's very approachable. He's a workaholic, as I mentioned before. He loves to solve problems. When he says that follow a problem solution approach in the way you're working, in like I create content, in the way you create content and everything, but he also, I think, follows in his own way of working as well. So he likes detailed stuff. He wants to know what everybody is doing. So ऐसा नहीं है कि हाँ काम चलाओ कि अच्छा हाँ काम दे दिया अब देख लेंगे. Like he wants to know कि अगर ये किया तो उसका output क्या है? What is the result of it? So he's very result oriented, and I think that's what makes a company grow. So that's very important as a CEO.
What happens when the result is not met?
Well, if result is not met, then yes, he is angry, as he should.
He should
I
be,
feel,
right.
as he should, but not like angry ki चिल्लाने लग जाएंगे or whatever. But then we sit, everybody sits down, thinks about a solution कि क्यों नहीं work किया. The important question is why. Question is not कि नहीं करा, but क्यों नहीं करा का आंसर होना चाहिए.
अच्छा RC है, RC है.
Yeah, you need to know that.
Okay, अब जैसे एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है कि if suppose, जैसे मैंने बहुत we've been to a lot of finance houses है ना, तो बहुत जगह team is not into finance, वो अपने सब अपने roles पे, but यहाँ पे I think most of the people that we met सब इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग योरसेल्फ. तो यहाँ पे कुछ कैसे कल्चर ऐसे बताते हैं कि इन्वेस्ट करो जरूरी है, ऐसे कुछ पुश कर रहे हैं?
देखो ऐसे कोई पुश नहीं करता दैट इन्वेस्ट करो, बट आई फील व्हेन यू आर वर्किंग इन अ फिनटेक स्पेस एंड व्हेन यू आर वर्किंग इन अ कंपनी दैट डील्स इन स्टॉक्स, म्यूचुअल फंड्स, यू हियर वर्ड्स एवरी डे, लार्ज कैप फंड्स, स्मॉल कैप फंड्स, ये वाला इक्विटी, ये वाला ईटीएफ, मार्केट कैसा परफॉर्म कर रही है, तो आई थिंक यू ऑटोमेटिकली टेंड टू डू दैट. As your subconscious mind automatically feels कि अच्छा यार इस बंदे का पोर्टफोलियो इतना है कि कैसे हुआ, तो आप automatically start investing. ज़रूरी नहीं है that everybody here has a finance background. That's not true.
Right.
But when people come in here, they come in a mindset कि अच्छा हम एक fintech में जा रहे हैं, तो maybe like we get an opportunity to invest. We'll learn more. It's a finance space, and finance space is not for everyone. People find it boring as well, to be honest. So I think वो gradually अपने आप हो जाता है.
ये तो आई एग्री, फाइनेंस स्पेस को लोग थोड़ा बोरिंग मानते हैं.
वो अच्छा है ना, मतलब all these fintech
लोग क्या,
companies-
मेरी बीवी बोरिंग मानती है फाइनेंस को, बट इट ग्रोज ऑन यू. आई थिंक फाइनेंस इज द इजीएस्ट, वेरी प्लेन लॉजिक ही है. वंस यू
Very
अंडरस्टैंड इट तो
logic.
यू
Yeah,
get
plain
it
logic.
together. अच्छा, तो टेल अस अबाउट इवेंट्स के कुछ टीम बिल्डिंग इवेंट्स क्या होते हैं यहाँ पर?
टीम बिल्डिंग इवेंट्स, एज आई मेंशन आपको 2 इवेंट्स तो मुझे क्लियरली आते हैं जो बाहर हुए थे.
बहुत ड्रास्टिक है ना, फ्रॉम जुम्बा टू विस्की टेस्टिंग.
या मतलब वो हमने भी नहीं सोचा था, बट जनरल पे आया विस्की टेस्टिंग. सो वुमेन्स डे पे वी डिड अ जुम्बा सेशन एंड विस्की टेस्टिंग कैजुअल ऐसे फ्राइडेज. सो मोस्टली हम ऐसे सारे सेशंस फ्राइडेज को करते हैं, एंड एज पार्ट ऑफ आवर कल्चर ऑल्सो हम फ्राइडेज को वी कट केक्स ऑफ पीपल जिनका भी बर्थडे आया इन द थ्रू द वीक. सो फ्राइडे को 4 o'clock हमारा केक कटिंग सेशन होता है विद ऑल द पीपल जिनका लोगों का बर्थडे, एम्प्लॉइज का.
तो एवरी फ्राइडे का
एवरी फ्राइडे केक कटिंग होती है.
वो 2 का डील होगा, फिर केक.
या
तो वैसे ना एक टाइम पर I think you were managing multiple companies. Like there was GoIBO, there was Redbuzz, there was PayU. So मतलब how did you manage all those companies and keep them growing? मतलब do you have some mantras and all principles which you use while going through?
Yeah, I think the key is that you want to surround yourself with great people. And till the time you haven't set those great people up, keep trying. Right? So many times what happens is that you think you got great people, but things are not playing out. Then you got to sift, you got to change, you got to course correct.
Right.
So for me, I think, in all of these businesses, I surrounded myself with some very, very good people at that time, who were very motivated to solve problems. And so that's one. Second is a lot of decentralization, right? So let's say at INDmoney, for example, we have a separate in-stocks team. And then we have a separate personal finance management team, right? So that they can focus and then they can take decisions and run fast, essentially. So I think just having the right team sets. Then the second very important thing is very important, data dashboards. तो एक जैसे स्कूल में रिपोर्ट कार्ड आ जाती थी, right? Same way there should be a report card which should chapo every hour,
Right.
right? And everybody should understand that. And everybody should be on common metric that they're chasing, right? So let's say, at INDmoney, we chase this metric that what is our registration to KYC, what is our KYC to investor conversion. And everybody has to chase it.
Right.
Okay. And at GoIBO, we would chase what is our traffic to booking conversion percentage, right? And what is it on iOS? What is it on Android? What is it on the web? And we would just chase it, right? So, that data dashboard should be published. Everybody should know, and everybody should be chasing those numbers. And that just changes the game. You're able to execute at scale.
It's actually very powerful कि एक तो first delegate decentralize so that एक decision making के लिए you don't become the bottleneck, and दूसरा data कि एक common metric के पीछे quantifyly सब भाग रहे हैं and performance can be quantified.
And it can't be 500 metric. There will be variant metrics, but everybody's chasing those top 2-3 metrics like crazy.
So जैसे कि अब there's an organization, you've decentralized it. So does that happen that things are happening but you don't want things to go in that direction? You go there, you kind of change the direction. So as a entrepreneur, this is kind of a thing. This is a major problem for at least startup entrepreneurs who can't really give away that control कि यार कोई different आदमी कोई different जगह जा रहा है तो it's my baby.
No, I think it should be very outcome focused, and it should be consumer experience focused, right? So you need to measure, right? I mean, I think the best way is to measure, and if that outcomes are not happening, right? If you're not able to in B2C businesses convert consumers, retain consumers, repeat consumers, and that report card is getting published every day, and if that's not going in the right direction, automatically there's a red flag, right? But if that's going in the right direction, honestly, and let's say it is for a particular business unit or a particular function or a category, right? Then the founder would also not trouble the category manager, right? The category manager is doing fine. But if, let's say, the category manager's line of business is going all over the place, it'll get published every day. And then obviously the founder will kind of come in and butt in and figure out and do RCA, what's wrong.
Yes. So the key is data.
Yeah, but
The key
again,
is data.
yeah, data. But he needs to do RCA, right? So I think the mistake is a lot of people remain high level. But the founder should do RCA and dirty his hands like crazy.
What's RCA?
RCA.
RCA means root cause analysis. So अब जैसे let's say there's a founder who's running a beauty startup and उसके पास 3 category managers हैं. एक fragrances, दूसरा health, तीसरा something
Lotions.
else, lotions, right? तो अब वो fragrances वाला जो category manager उसका data is going all over the place. Conversion rates 3.5% थी last month, वो 2% आ गई. So obviously category manager is not doing his job properly. So the founder can't say solve the problem. The founder needs to now double click and do the RCA and say यार ये क्या हुआ?
अच्छा, right? तो पूरा like forensic auditing type पूरा घुस जाओ अंदर and then
क्या
understand
हुआ
what's
रहा है?
the concern. अब when we are talking about entrepreneurship, तो एक और बड़ा interesting है, there are a lot of investors who मतलब passionate about stock market. हमारे audience में से बहुत लोग हैं. And with investing side by side, they want to start a business within the stock market industry, right? And इसमें again ये huge है. You can be an investor, it can be from broker end, fund manager, whatever. बहुत सारी चीजें. तो according to you, what problems do you feel in this industry of financial markets are still yet to be solved, or maybe problems that are maybe not even discovered by people?
Very interesting question. So I think financial advisory at scale is something which is still not present yet.
Financial advisory.
Pure play financial advisory at scale. It's still not at scale. I'm saying, see, the problem is that if financial advisory is going to be done by one person to 20, 30, 50 people, scalable nahi hai.
Right.
Scale means at very large scale, right? So I think that's a problem which is not solved, right? And also merits somebody to be thinking about it. And
But जैसे IND platform में है, right? तो उसमें भी if a new person goes,
Yeah.
तो हल्का सा help तो करता ही है that you can think in that direction, asset allocation.
Yeah, but financial advisory means basically somebody doing personal, absolutely. कि भाई buy, get out of these 4 stocks because it's over diversified.
Right.
Do this and so on and so forth, right? So I think that's one space which, in my view, I haven't seen any magical product yet in the market. So I think that's one. Second, I also feel that there is this space of fully end-to-end digitizing portfolio management schemes, making it extremely scalable. But that audience there would be HNIs. They won't be retail users. But I think someone doing and working with the regulator to do digital onboarding and Demat account opening automatically and a portfolio management scheme, which is right now still a lot of paperwork, is what I understand. And that would be an important thing for HNIs. So that's one space which is also, I think, not because as a user I have exposed myself to PMSs over a period of time, and I know the pains which are there, right, to do the execution and portfolio monitoring. So I think these are the two spaces in the capital markets, that I can offhand think about. Yeah.
And what about insurance? Because as people in finance, we also it's very hard to figure out which insurance to take. Recently, I say Harsh took a insurance, take a health insurance, yeah. So we got the agent, everything was done. फिर बाद में we got to know कि उस पर मतलब ऑटो में if you got an accident तो it was not covered. तो अलग से we had to take a rider. तो as consumers we felt कि यार मतलब we are completely on
And
the hands
that
of
too when
agent.
we are finance people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think your question was more on capital markets. Insurance is outside
Acha.
capital markets, but I think there is a huge opportunity for someone in India. In fact, maybe I would have done it had it been not for INDmoney, to create a health insurance product combined end to end with claims and settlement. इसका मतलब ये है कि एक समझो एक ऐप है, right? Harsh and Company or Harsh X, or I come in and I book a health insurance, and when I have to do a claim, I do QR scan in a hospital and I'm able to get a claim. जैसे हम लोग म्यूचुअल फंड दिखाते हैं ना, सब कुछ दिखाते हैं, एक्सपेंस रेशियो दिखाते हैं हम लोग,
उसमें डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या है, क्या स्टॉक्स हैं,
कौन
कितना
से स्टॉक्स
परसेंटेज
हैं,
है.
इतना बढ़िया पूरा पेज है ऊपर से नीचे
Right.
तक हम विजिट्स दिखाते हैं, राइट? इतनी अच्छी तरह से. तो इंश्योरेंस में भी सेम चीज हो सकती है ना, राइट? पूरा दिखाते हैं और डेटा है पूरा, राइट? So I think huge opportunity, not just to build a very transparent health insurance app, but health insurance plus claims app.
Right.
Massive opportunity. And I don't think anyone has solved it, because अगर आप हॉस्पिटल में चेक इन करो तो एक तो आपने वो राइडर्स वाली प्रॉब्लम बताई, बट हॉस्पिटल में चेक इन करो अगर आपको
recently
अप्रूवल
experienced
चाहिए,
it and
एलिजिबिलिटी
it's-
चाहिए, इट्स अ मैडनेस. यू आर रनिंग पिलर टू पोस्ट. बीच में वहाँ पे टीपी है, उसका मेरे को आज तक नहीं समझ आया. वो फिजिकल पेपर से केवाईसी कर रहा है, क्या कर रहा है वो, कर क्या
And
रहा
it
है, नहीं
takes
समझ
3
आ रहा.
hours for the insurance company to respond, and
Correct.
उसमें भी there are multiple back and forth.
Correct. So
Yeah.
I think huge opportunity on health insurance outside of capital markets, of course.
So is this on the roadmap of INDmoney also?
Right now, we want to solve a lot on personal finances. This is a very, very deep vertical in itself. If we do get bandwidth over time, there's lots on our plate right now.
This is so interesting. बताओ इंडिया में फाइनेंस कितना इंटरेस्टिंग और इजी होता जा रहा है. एंड यस, द आइडिया कि अगर क्यूआर कोड से कोई स्कैन कर ले, लाइफ वुड हैव बीन सो इजी फॉर मी. मतलब फर्स्ट टाइम एक्सपीरियंस टीपीए में भागते भागते लाइफ वाज मिजरेबल कंप्लीटली.
Yeah.
अब इसमें आशीष, अपना लेट्स कम बैक टू ब्रोकिंग आफ्टर सम टाइम, बट आई आल्सो वांट टू टॉक अबाउट, अब देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ बज़ ऑन फाइनेंस कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स. जैसे अभी रिसेंटली हैपेंड, आई थिंक बहुत रेगुलेटरी इश्यूज भी आ रहे थे, राइट? एंड सम कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स अनफॉर्चूनेटली और फॉर्चूनेटली दे केम अप for not being in the right practices. What is your take on this entire situation?
See, my take is that there are financial content creators who are educating,
Right,
in a simplistic manner, right? And I give a big thumbs up, and I would love to support, because at the end of the day, जो अभी भी missing है is simplistic education, right? I think financial education should become part of universities and schools.
100%, yes.
I think at the end of the day, money and compounding money is so important. And, I talk to the best of people coming out of MBAs. A lot of them don't understand exactly how compounding works.
Right.
They don't understand inflation, how inflation works.
Right.
They don't understand. This is the best of MBAs.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't understand what is reverse repo rate, right? I asked someone the other day, maybe not from a tier 1 MBA university, college, that do you know how a bank makes money? The person didn't know, right? Like very basic. सबसे पहले तो आदमी एक सेविंग अकाउंट खोलता है और पैसे डालता है, right? So I think
Yeah, I think we've also noticed that हमारा भी MBA का session था तो we assumed कि जाए यहाँ तो we'll discuss on the balance sheet and profit and loss
Mhm.
but वो था नहीं response मतलब they were not very easy and they were I think second year students of that college.
Yeah.
So you're completely right.
Yeah, so I think financial education that is being done by the content creators, financial content creators, is a very, very important thing. And, it's extremely important. I think where the confusion is that there are some people who basically say, okay, start talking about underlying securities or underlying derivatives, that this is a derivative X and this is what I did, and and you should also do, and this is a security X and this is what I did and this is what perhaps you should do.
Right.
That gets into a murky territory.
Yeah.
And why that gets into a murky territory is because there this influencer is inducing the audiences,
Right.
right? And the audiences don't understand, right? Then the audiences might as well go and play any satta, right? Why even come to the stockbroking
Right.
players, right? So I think that to me I won't support, and that's plain wrong, which is clear inducement.
True. So tell me that one thing you believe, but others disagree with you.
Yeah, so I think I really strongly believe in the power of faster execution over perfection, and a lot of people disagree.
Faster execution over
Perfection.
So suppose if you have an idea, but it's not very clear कि कैसे करना है, क्या होगा, मतलब as in everything is not clear, but you would rather start
Yeah.
first and then.
Yeah, because I think what happens is that if you don't execute, you learn nothing, nil. And a lot of people keep trying to think, analyze, overanalyze. They never get down to execution. They learn nothing, and then they get tired, and then they fail, and then they'll blame everyone around them, right from their boyfriends and girlfriends to fathers and mothers, right?
Right.
So I think, but I'm really a fan of execution, and it could be controlled, right? You don't, especially in financial services, you don't want to take too much of a risk, but you want to learn really fast, and you want to iterate really fast. You don't want to kind of delay it. I think one of the beautiful aspects of building scaled companies is momentum. If you lose momentum, your company is not learning very fast. You're not iterating fast enough. So I think that's something which a lot of people do not agree with me. People still feel that why shouldn't you, why shouldn't you do things fully thought out properly, and let's try to give something 100% perfection. I don't think there's a concept called 100% perfection. One should never chase,
Right.
and one would never kind of get there.
अब now let's take about stock markets में आते हैं, ठीक है? Investors को अभी मुझे पता है सब wait कर रहे होंगे. So you are a tech head, है ना? So people want to invest in tech companies. Where do you see tech companies are better to invest in, India or USA?
Yeah, so I think if I look at, I can't name companies,
Right.
okay, but if I look at the big tech, it is important to get exposed to the big tech. You can get exposed to big tech either through apps like INDmoney, where you can directly invest in these companies, the big tech that you use every day. And you can of course open your free account and easily get exposed, or you could also expose yourself or get exposure or get access to the big tech through some of the mutual funds, global mutual funds,
Right.
on platforms like INDmoney, right, which are global mutual funds, which are even global indexes and so on and so forth, right? So that's one aspect. On the other hand, I am very, very bullish of new age consumer tech companies which have been getting listed. I think they're just getting started. I'm 100% sure in the long run, Nifty 50, Nifty 100 will look very different. So definitely, I won't say hardcore tech companies, but consumer tech apps, which are getting listed. I don't want to obviously name any one,
Right. No names. Yeah.
but those are something which investors should obviously look at carefully, because they're getting started now. They are getting started, and there is a huge headroom for growth.
अब financial numbers have also started to support them. पहले तो वो
Yeah.
नहीं था.
Yeah,
अब वो I think
a lot
हल्के-हल्के
of them
चल
are
रहा है.
profitable.
Yeah.
and the machines that they have built are tremendous.
Right.
The AI ML systems that these companies have built are just tremendous and should not be ignored, and they are at a very different scale from traditional companies, so should not never be ignored. But obviously people should do their own research. People should obviously look at all the fundamentals.
100%.
There could be some bad apples there. They should know. Never listen to tips.
Right.
अपना काम खुद करो.
अभी टिप्स में भी तो एक चीज है कि ऐसे पिग बुचिंग स्कैम्स होते रहते हैं,
हम्म.
पीपल व्हाट्सएप में कन्विंस्ड, एंड एक तो था कि किसी somebody assumed कि एक ब्रोकर का CEO is telling him the tips for stock markets and sending him private
Instagram
or
and social
Instagram
media.
and private, and people get convinced, and that too I'm talking about students studying in IIT, very well informed. How do you think these scams will stop? How, मतलब, because ये stock market को बहुत एक खराब नाम दे रहा है.
So I think, look, honestly, the regulator is creating more and more guardrails. In fact, we launched our domestic equities business last year.
Right.
And we launched it when there was even more maturity in regulations and lot more guardrails. Like KYC guardrails are at 5x more stringent than it was 2 years ago.
Right.
This whole thing about not using influencers to do marketing also came up, right?
Right.
And one of the reasons was that the regulator wants that nobody should be giving tips and talking tips, right? So I think there are clear regulatory guardrails. There is a lot more audits happening now. There's much more checking happening. So it is getting weaned away. And then, of course, education, that people should not listen to tips. Please don't listen to tips. Please don't listen to your friend circle. And remember, investing is very different from trading. एक तो ये समझ लो.
Yes.
Investing is for
Any
a very,
according to
very
what?
long term. अगर आप, you have to think 7 years, 10 years. SIP is a very beautiful feature by the capital markets industries. Like
Beautiful.
on INDmoney, you can do SIP in mutual fund. Now you can do SIP in stocks also. पहले नहीं सुना था किसी ने. Which is beautiful. There's a stock, blue chip. You start a SIP for the long term. So investing is for the long term. Trading is for the short term, and trading is very, very different focus, persona, needs, right?
Right.
And there is no get rich fast formula. I mean, I'm being honest with everyone.
100%. I think इसमें ना, I think regulatory bodies are trying the best, but even people, वही education से ही होगा जो हो रहा है, they also have to realize कि ये get rich quick schemes, they can't work. And once I think they realize it, then I think कुछ for nobody can do these scams.
Correct.
कोई कर ही नहीं सकता.
Correct.
So tell me from your perspective, if you want to invest in some industry, not a company but industry, which is the broad industry you think is worth investing your money in?
For coming 5 years.
And specifically for public companies.
Yeah, look, I mean, I cannot talk about as such, but I would definitely, look at consumer, any industry which is driven by domestic consumer demand, consumption as a theme, right? Because it's very underpenetrated. I think financial services is again quite underpenetrated, right? Other than banking, not core saving account banking, everything else is underpenetrated. So I think these are definitely two industries. And consumer, I'll also put consumer tech, right? Basically.
Interesting. And where do you see the markets on a general perspective for the coming 4-5 years?
Yeah, I think, look, India is a case of an under-penetration, right? So the investor penetration is still 4% odd. Okay, and active investor penetration is still low, right? And, if I look at any other evolved market, there the penetration is as high as 30-40%, right? So just by the fact that, there is going to be many more investors getting access to capital markets and investing, and India itself per capita GDP is still low.
Very low.
With our population. So everything, it's just basically the base effect. Like, even if I was to not praise anything, the base is low. So hence the opportunity of growth over the next 5-10 years is obviously very, very high. Even if we just stick to our current level of execution as a country, as human beings, as people.
Interesting. The stock markets were bullish.
Yeah, I want okay, I would say
Unrealistic.
again, think of it long term, right?
Yeah, long term.
If somebody say कि अभी 3 महीने में क्या होने वाला है, 6 महीने, don't talk to me about it. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, and no, I think this question itself is so ridiculous. How can you
Hmm.
expect anyone to know the future कि क्या होने वाला है
Correct,
6 महीने में?
correct,
कुछ भी हो सकता है. Okay, अब फिर finally Ashish, let's take the last couple of questions कि अब IND Money platform, where can we see this platform in the coming 10 years? मतलब will this platform continue to be a super money app at this level? या इसमें और भी चीजें add होने का we can expect?
No, so I think our aim is that we want to be the financial life engine for you and your family members.
Right.
Not just you, but you and your family members. I think we ignore one aspect. In a country like India, money and finances is not an individual phenomena. It's at a family level.
Right.
It's a family tree, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the son manages the money, sometimes the father and son, right? So our aim is to be the financial life engine for the family. And we want to, amongst our addressable market, we want to ensure that we are used as the default financial life engine by people and their family members. So I think that's, for me, very, very critical. We want to help people improve their financial future, and people should be using us as the default financial app.
मतलब as in पूरी family का एक जगह, they know the entire net worth, the situation, कहाँ पैसा allocated है, everything.
Absolutely.
Wow. अच्छा, अब you कितने सारे Demat accounts हैं? You are seeing investors, your team is seeing traders on a daily basis. You know how many of them are making profit, how many making the losses. So general, अब आपको सब पता है, right? तो general advice, what would you want to give to us investors? That कि इन चीजों को ध्यान रखो, which majority of people are making who are not getting good ROIs.
No, I think it's very simple, right? So first, investing is not equal to trading.
Right.
तो एक चीज समझ लो, right? Investing mindset is of long-term compounding.
Right.
Investing mindset is SIP चालू करना and investing into good quality companies and good quality management team for the long term. Okay, trading is to be able to, understand the derivatives market really well, and do not do trading unless you have learned. Do not do it without, getting a very good sense of what it does. Now, on INDmoney, what we do is we encourage customers to first become investors.
Right.
Because अगर आप सीधा आए और ट्रेडिंग शुरू कर दी और आपने कुछ समझा नहीं, that's very, very dangerous, right? We are very, as a company, committed to helping people get protected. We want to protect people. We want to protect the downside also. So the encouragement is first if you have never invested, or if you are new to investing, start first investing, start a SIP, start investing in, what in the capital market parlance, they say delivery, right? Buy a stock here and there, get a good sense, and then also educate yourself about the core fundamentals, right? आपको समझ आना चाहिए जो पूरा, जो जैसे हम लोग एक पूरा पेज देते हैं, उस पे what does this company do, what is the valuation of this company, what is the income of this company, what is the cash flow, what is the balance sheet. तो ये चीजें समझ लो. उसके बाद enter into derivatives if you want to, that too after a lot of education, right? That is, and then if you are entering into derivatives, please use features like stop loss. My favorite feature, stop loss, right? Please protect your downside.
Last question is a personal question. So I saw on your social media that you were posting quite a lot about squash. So being related to sports, does it actually help you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I think, and I'm actually playing much less of squash these days. But I think it's very critical to, play a sport, for not just actually being an entrepreneur, but anyone building something, anyone creating something. So जब मेरे को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा होता, तो I just go and I go play.
Is it?
You sweat, you come back, you take a shower, come back to office, and दिमाग खुल जाता है.
ये तो try करेंगे. But this is something that I
So you got
common.
to sweat like a pig, right? Like you got to, yeah. And I think the nice thing about squash is that it's a convenient game. It's indoors, right? It does not require 20 players to be gathered. You just need one player who's willing to play. It's very competitive, very quick,
And high intensity.
and super high intensity. Very, very, like it's I think also a very good, very good tool to get to revive basically.
I completely agree because I am basically a runner, so I run marathons. So I think I get the same thing whenever there's something going on. Just have a run, come back.
Hmm.
You kind of मतलब mind थोड़ा reset होता है. So I feel it's
तो ऑफिस में प्रॉब्लम आती है, भागने चला जाता है.
Nice. No, that's good.
Well, Ashish, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
It
you
was a
very much.
pleasure. And that's it, guys. नीचे comment box में बताओ कि आपको कैसा लगा. And what other questions would you want to ask Ashish? I hope we catch hold of him again. तो दोबारा पूछ सकते हैं. And anything last you want to say?
Thank you very much. Really fun chatting with you guys.
It was a
yes,
pleasure.
it was a
Thank
great,
you.
great experience. And of course, we learned. I personally learned.
I
a lot. I'm
learned
sure
a
कि
lot.
You must have taken some really amazing insights from this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, guys. तो ये हो रहा है setup. The team is ready. Ashish will be sitting here. We will be sitting here. The team is ready. आप पूरा दिखा सकते हो पीछे. This is the back end of the entire scene.
We've got a lot of lights. काफी अच्छा है. मजा आने वाला है.
ये बात अगर कोई stupid question पूछा तो
तो edit कर देंगे यार.